it's more of a sales issue, and we're not sales trainers. We are, I think, in many ways better salespeople than some of our clients. They have order takers. That's not a salesperson.
Sure.
So we would go into businesses, and as well as crunching the numbers on pricing and stuff like that, we look at their sales process. They might have 10 sales guy. One's brilliant, one's rubbish. What's he doing that he's not doing? There's an analysis of behaviors and techniques. What does he actually say? What script does he follow? He may not think it's a script, but he says the same things time and time again. This guy says different things. It doesn't work. So there's an issue to sales in terms of training salespeople to sell better. It is a profession. Selling should be a profession. The vast majority of salespeople I come across don't treat it that way. They don't read books. They don't improve their skills. They don't
Sure.
go on courses. They got into sales because it was the quickest way to get a decent car.
Sure.
That was why most people go into it. And when we talk about the selling proposition, we know lots of surveys, lots of research on it, that if you explain the proposition better, you can charge a higher price. So one of the examples we've used on many seminars is we get people to make a judgment on price. Half the audience have an envelope A, and it says, what would you pay for steak and chips? What would you pay to get your tax return done? What would you pay to get your car valeted? The other half have same three questions, but it says, what would you pay for a locally sourced fresh steak cooked to your order with hand cut triple cooks, skin on fries, locally sourced seasonal vegetables, blah, blah, blah. Your tax return done, making sure you've used every tax opportunity to reduce your bills, filed on time, just elaboration
Sure.
of the same product. And when you ask them, what do you think that would cost? You always get something like double
Yep.
for the one where you elaborate. It's the classic Marks and Spencer's. It's not a chocolate pudding. It's a melt in the middle, blah,
Marks
blah,
and
blah.
Spencer's.
Absolutely. And salespeople don't do that. They want to get the sale and leave. And what they need to do is spend a bit more time elaborating all the other reasons why you should buy. Otherwise, if the only one you leave on the table to talk about is price, that is the one they talk about,
Sure.
And that's where you've suddenly got nowhere to go. If your only ammunition is a price issue, you're stuffed.
Moving on from
Yep.
and keeping in the same sphere as pricing and certainly cost. We're in some challenging times with inflation and interest rates off the back of COVID. We
Yep.
know that. Does that change any of the pricing issues?
It doesn't change any of the concepts, because they're concepts, they're fundamentals, they're logic equations. So the calculation of, if I put my prices up, I'll lose customers. If I drop it, I'll get more customers. That logic remains. The sensitivity in a challenging marketplace is slightly different to the sensitivity in an easy marketplace. We've had 10 years or more of a relatively easy marketplace to go and run a business. That is going to get more difficult. So the logic doesn't change, but the parameters will change in terms of how sensitive customers are to price. What also changes, of course, is the imperative changes. Did I need to make more money 5 years ago? No, I was making enough. It was okay. I could have my nice holidays and car, and the bank weren't on my back, etc. As you go into difficult times and profit gets squeezed and maybe turned into losses, the urgency, the importance of getting price right as one of the ways to make profits again, that becomes a much more important issue than people give it credit for. So none of the practical fundamentals or principles change. The sensitivity changes and the importance of it changes. It racks up a bit. When I'm running helium projects, and have done in the past, I've done some where the business is in distress and they go, we just need help. And when I go in there, I go, you should do this. And they go, oh, we'll do that then. They don't argue with anything because they're desperate. They need the business fixed.
Okay.
They need to make money.
Yep.
One example, they were told, if you don't make money by the end of the year, the bank are going to take the keys off you. Well, what do we need to do? Didn't challenge any of the things I said. You just get on with it. A business that's doing okay, that thinks it could do better, goes, I get the idea, but I'm not sure that works for us. And I can't make them because they're making enough money.
Yeah, sure.
Now that will change because there will be a sense of urgency and importance to getting that right.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.